countdown to the last comic shop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Break up the super soldier serum, you founding fathers! It is now time for more of the last comic shop podcast.
Got lots of chicken. We got burgers. We got soda. We got ice cream. We got beer. We got it all. This is our 4th of July spectacular.
Yeah, we haven't done beer yet. When are we going to do beer?
That's Andy's dream. He's been waiting to do beer every day since we started this podcast.
That is true. And I'm just so excited to be reading this Captain Britain book.
Captain Britain book? No, come on. Maybe it's your recommendation for later in the show, J.A. But for those folks that are sticking around and know the last comic shop over the last couple of years, we do Captain America books here on the lead up to the 4th of July, right, Chad? Are we getting those oldie moldies? Are we getting them unfrozen from those packs of ice? Are we breaking them out of the 1940s?
No, what we're doing is we're putting them on a train and shoot them off to Dimension C!
It has to be said, we leave the lights on for every holiday, so we're here. Come on, put us on, put some Kenny Chesney on the other speaker, and let's go, baby. It's 4th of July. Come on, guys.
That is true. It is 4th of July spectacular. I am the host with the most, Danny Larson. I'm joined by my regular co-host, Jay Scott and Chad Smith, as well as the bombastic Ethan Larson, who we always like to bring back for these 4th of July episodes. I think this is now maybe the 5th season he's been back for these 4th of July shows. And every year he seems to help us out with a tremendous task of coming up with a tournament that we like to share with all those folks that are flipping the burgers, cooking the dogs, pumping the pony keg, whatever you happen to be doing this 4th of July. We want to be your partners with coming up with a fantastic, fun segment to kick off your fireworks spectacular. So, Ethan, what do we got this year?
I think I mentioned it before, but we got ice cream. The last ice cream shop, baby. Come on now. That's perfect branding. I would want to see that on a t-shirt.
But it is the last ice cream shop, and as always, what we do in these tournaments is we've got 16 of the most amazing ice cream flavors known to man. We're going to put it in a ranking. We're going to have them battle it out one round at a time until we get to a final four, at which point we are going to ask everybody to do their patriotic duty and get out to our social media and vote on what they think is the best flavor out of those four. And hopefully we won't have Chad just boycott the whole thing because Dr. Pepper somehow didn't make it to the final.
You guys picked cherry flavored whatever. You chose red dye over Dr. Pepper. Red dye over Dr. Pepper. What is wrong with you people?
I mean, some of this ice cream is salty, just like Chad. But as always, each of us get a vote. And it is majority rules. And if there is a tie for some bizarre reason, we will flip a coin and we will go from there. And make sure that you're checking out our website. The wonderful J.A. Scott has put out a fantastic logo that will be available on a t-shirt for a limited time. So if you like ice cream shop and you want to sport that at your local swimming hole for the rest of the summer, make sure that you're checking out our website to get that merch.
www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com.
You can also get it on a tank top, right, Andy? And
oh, yeah, absolutely. A muscle tee. You could get it on a tote bag so that you can tote around your ice cream till it melts and starts leaking everywhere.
Who you call it a tote bag? Your tote bag.
What about, you got trucker hats on there?
Yes, you can definitely get an Last Ice Cream Shot trucker hat, as well as this week only, we're going to also put out those other past Last Burger Shop, Last Chicken Shop designs. So make sure that you're checking all of those out and snagging them.
For July only. So make sure that you guys purchase those and make your whole collection. You know, chicken shop, burger shop, soda shop. Now you got the Last Ice Cream Shop. Beautiful logo, J.A.
So let's go ahead and get started with round one, obviously with the number 1 versus 16 matchup, which should be fairly straightforward, I think. That is number 1, vanilla. I mean, again, one of the all-time classic flavors of ice cream. And it's going up against the dark horse of peanut butter. Now, again, peanut butter is often, put as a topping on vanilla ice cream, but we're just talking about peanut butter ice cream.
So there's no chocolate. It's just peanut butter.
It's just peanut butter. Straight.
It's got to be vanilla. Like I can't do peanut butter. Come on, man. You gotta give me some chocolate. You gotta give me some variety. Like that's a lot of peanut butter at one time. Right.
I will say they make peanut butter cereal, the Reese's Puffs, the all peanut butter ones. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good cereal.
You need a little bit of variety when it comes to peanut butter. You need something. Like you need the bread, you need the chocolate, you need the pretzel, you need whatever.
The jelly.
Something.
The banana.
Jelly. Yes, absolutely.
Celery. The raisins.
There has to be a vessel to peanut butter. It just can't be peanut butter.
Yeah, and I'm gonna agree with you, Ethan, because if you're talking about a vessel in terms of ice cream, vanilla is kind of like the Batman of ice cream flavors. Like it can just be plopped in anywhere. And sure, some people may think it's bland or whatever, but it's like Bruce Lee. It is water. It becomes whatever you want it to be. You can put it in root beer. It becomes a root beer float. You put strawberry topping on it. It becomes a strawberry sundae. It is so versatile that there's no question that vanilla probably is my front runner to win this whole thing, just because of how versatile vanilla is. So that's my vote.
Yeah, it's definitely going to win this round, but looking ahead, there's no way it's beating out the winner of Rocky Road versus Chocolate Chip Cookie Dough. So I'll give vanilla this one round leeway. It is vanilla. It is the quintessential boringest ice cream in the world. That's why you got to put shit on it, so it tastes like something.
Oh,
wow.
That was
coming out swinging.
tough. Yeah, I could see what Jay's feeling, where vanilla is the default. You can't pick vanilla to win it all, but you can definitely pick vanilla to beat peanut butter. Vanilla!
Oh, all right. So definitely vanilla is moving on to the next round. So let's go ahead and pick vanilla's adversary in the next round. That is the number 9 versus number 8 matchup of Rocky Road versus Chocolate Chip Cookie Dough. I'm going to go first and just simply saying that I have actually not had a lot of Rocky Road in my lifetime. I've heard of this flavor. I've maybe had it once or twice. People talk about it with such like, oh, it's so great. I've never actually sat down and said like, oh man, I need to get me some Rocky Road. But I have eaten a ton of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. So I got to go with the number.
See, I'm the complete opposite. I have had so much Rocky Road in my life. I don't think I've actually eaten chocolate chip cookie dough before. Something about it just doesn't appeal to me. I mean, like I was always one of those people, like if you make the batter, like the brownie batter, I would never eat it because it was like, oh, there's salmonella and scare the crap out of you. So I bought that Nancy Reagan after school special about eating the cookie dough and the brownie dough. It's got to be Rocky Road for me because I've eaten a lot of Rocky Road, have never touched chocolate chip cookie dough.
Yeah, chocolate chip cookie dough, you always think is like, oh, is it okay? Is it safe to eat the cookie dough? But who cares? Because it tastes so good. It's so good.
Like a big chunk of it in there. You take a bite and it's almost all cookie dough. It's like got just a little bit sliver of vanilla just for appearance sake. Yeah, you just might as well be just eating Toll House right now. Like this is Pillsbury. It's so good. But Chad, are you going Rocky Road? Are we going to have to flip off?
Oh, you can flip off. No, Rocky Road has that marshmallow element that makes me uneasy, whereas the chocolate chip cookie dough has the danger factor. Is it bad? Oh, who knows? But it is. It is delicious. And the marshmallow queasiness versus this is something foreboding of the chocolate chip cookie dough makes chocolate chip cookie dough the way to go.
All right. So chocolate chip cookie dough wins 3-1. It is moving on to the next round in its eventual matchup against vanilla. Moving on to the 5-12 matchup. Now, this was specifically asked for by JA. Like when we listed all of these flavors, JA said, no, this has to be a first round matchup. And that is the grudge match between chocolate chip at number 5 versus number 12, mint chocolate chip. So again, is that mint putting it over the top? Is the mint what really,
Yes.
for me?
Yes. It is.
What?
Yes. Chocolate chip for the win.
Yeah, I have to second that because it's like eating a York peppermint patty. It's just delicious and fantastic, and you're not sure if that's a real color on the spectrum, but you're gonna eat it. So shut up.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I would never actively choose mint chocolate chip. There's something unnerving about the green, but when I have it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. It's like like thin mint.
See,
Yeah,
I would have
ice
liked to see mint chocolate chip versus pistachio, the two weird green flavors.
That is not only did pistachio not make this tournament, but it's also the reason why I can't go for mint chocolate chip. Sure, I love mint chocolate chip when it's basically a shamrock shake. You know, you only get it once a year. It's green. It's fine, whatever. There is something unnerving about that green. It's refreshing, sure, but it's also weird. If you like chocolate chip cookie dough, I don't know why you're just going with chocolate chip, because it's the same freaking flavor. I'm sorry, but I'm losing this. It's 3-1.
Yeah.
So-
I just like how we're all like, food shouldn't be green.
Unnaturally green, sir. Unnaturally. I mean, if you mix in some kale in there, I mean, then we could have some natural color. But nobody knows what that green color is.
We don't like lettuce, please.
Who
We
needs
don't eat our
veg?
greens.
We're trying to make America healthy again. Don't you know about this?
If
Come
it's
on.
not brown,
Oh no, I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, I don't know where this is going either. Let's move on before we go down a rabbit hole we can't get back from. We're going on to the 13-4 matchup. We're going to go with the number 4 of cookies and cream. There's a lot of people I know that this is their favorite ice cream flavor. They'll take cookies and cream every single time, but it's going up against coffee flavored ice cream, which is my wife's favorite flavor. Like, she loves like the cappuccino chocolate chunk and anything with coffee. She's just like, yes, give me more of that in droves.
right? Because you don't just want a massive ton of sugar; you also want a massive ton of caffeine.
So it's like eating Dunkin' Donuts.
That's true. If you're a coffee baby, that's what you want with your coffee. You just want a ton of sugar.
Right? That's a true romance.
But we're going to start off with Chad. Out of these two flavors, Chad, what are you voting for?
Listen, I enjoy coffee, but coffee is a means to an end. Ice cream is a treat. We're not going to have coffee ice cream. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Sorry, Nicole. But no, cookies and cream is definitely the way to go here. It's an Oreo. That's a treat and a treat all mixed together, and it's the original Blizzard.
Yeah, it's got to be cookies and cream, even though cookies and cream is like the training wheels of ice cream.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Unpack that?
A little harsh.
No, it's like if you don't like ice cream, you've never had ice cream, cookies and cream is like the gateway drug for you. But coffee, I'm sorry. I mean, coffee is meant to be hot and liquidy and in a mug, not cold and in a bowl. So going with cookies and cream.
All right, Ethan.
Yeah, I'm with Jay. My coffee always has to be hot. Hot or like room temperature. Room temperature is actually fantastic for coffee. That's my favorite. But my kids graduated from vanilla. Now their favorite's cookies and cream. So I think like you start out with that vanilla taste, and then it's like said Jay, the gateway drug to all the other advanced ice cream. It starts all with cookies and cream. So it's got to be a fundamental. It's got to be. I'd probably say in the final 4, but we'll see how the cards play out.
Well, I will say that I disagree with Ethan on the fact that coffee always has to be hot, because I prefer iced coffee, to be honest. I love a good iced coffee. It has to be sweet, too. But I haven't really eaten a lot of coffee-flavored ice cream in my time. So I think it's an unanimous. This is cookies and cream. All right. So that's the first half of the bracket for our last ice cream shop. Let's move on to the 3-14 matchup of an iconic flavor for a lot of folks with strawberry against a flavor that may not be as popular in the United States, but vastly popular other places in the world, and that is green tea.
I actually had a lot more green tea when I was living in China. Green tea ice cream, that is. But you got to go with strawberry. There's a reason why it's the number 3. I mean, green tea at least is a bit more natural of a green color than mint chocolate chip, so it's got that going for it. But it's not something that you want more than one small scoop of. It's like a nice digestive after a meal, but it's not a dessert.
It's the natural color of urine.
Is it? Well, Ethan, what you got going on over there,
green
bud?
tea. I'm sorry, I don't mess with green tea, my man. Yeah, and I also just like to throw in, like, I'd like to see gelati on here represented. Give me some other fruits. Like, if you're gonna take that champion of strawberry, you gotta give me like some other, the mango or.
Look, we could set up strawberry versus orange sherbet. You know you want to see that matchup.
I do. Oh, man. Don't make me pick children. Don't make me pick children. Strawberry's going to win this. I do enjoy the flavor of green tea. I could see Jay's point that green tea is kind of a palate cleanser. It's probably a really refreshing taste. But like strawberry, I think that was my first love as an ice cream flavor was strawberry. It's still my go-to if I have to pick a flavor. Whether it's strawberry straight or with vanilla with strawberry syrup and cut strawberries, it's still my favorite. But Chad, are you going to be a green tea?
No, that's gross. Just like coffee. You want tea or coffee? Drink tea or coffee. You want ice cream? You're going for strawberry ice cream. It's delightful. Moving on.
All right. Moving on to the 6-11 matchup. Talk about picking children. The number 6 of orange sherbet. Some folks are going to get after me that I didn't include more sorbets or fruit flavored choices.
I just threw it out there. I just said it. So,
and my kids yelled at me for not just picking rainbow sherbet because they said, "Dad, that is infinitely better than orange sherbet because you get orange and then you get raspberry and then you get lime, and the mixing of those 3 flavors is awesome." But we're just going with orange sherbet classic, and it's going against butter pecan. Or pecan? Is it pecan? Is it pecan?
I go pecan because I can.
Is sherbet a regional thing?
Is sherbet a regional thing?
Yeah, is it like a Pennsylvania, Midwestern?
I'm still confused about Pennsylvania and Midwestern being lumped together. Unless you're considering Pennsylvania like Pittsburgh, Philly, and Pennsylvania down the middle.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I mean, like, once you get to Pittsburgh, it's basically like the Midwest. They all say pop.
Okay.
I think that sherbet's in that same mix. I don't know. You could go custard, you could go sorbet, you could go gelati, I don't know.
Yeah, we have a lot of sorbets over here.
I don't think I've eaten a sherbet since I was like 10 years old.
Wow.
I think it's a Pennsylvania thing. Like, I don't think
delicious. It is not just a Pennsylvania thing.
Looking ahead on the bracket, if butter pecan would win, it would have to win twice. But you could set up where butter pecan is going up against salted caramel, and that is a battle that I would like to see because they're both sort of nutty goodness.
Let's see. Correct. So is JA is butter pecan your pick just because you want to see this matchup eventually?
Yes.
Okay. He's going butter pecan. Chad?
This is the toughest choice for me. These are 2 of my favorite options out there. And I feel like I go butter pecan when I feel like I'm a 70-year-old man. And what an orange sherbet. I don't know. I just keep thinking dreamsicle. Dreamsicle, guys. It's the best. The orange sherbet and the vanilla combo. Like, there's nothing better. This is tough. It's tough. I'm going to go with the orange sherbet, though, just because Dreamsicle. So nice. Yes. There's even Dreamsicle Coke, which is delightful.
I'm going to agree with the orange sherbet. So it comes down to you, Ethan. Are we going to have our first coin flip of the match with you picking butter pecan by default because you haven't had orange sherbet in half a century?
Hell yeah, we're flipping that coin. Come on. Butter pecan's so good, man. I don't even know what sherbet is. I don't think it has real fruit in it at all. I'm not sure. I think we're isolating like a quarter of our fan base here. We're an international show. We're global, man. Like, we can't do
even people in Antarctica love the great taste of butter pecan ice cream. They eat it with their penguins. They're like, oh, we love this. Such got an international flair. All right, let's get our coin flip. Since Ethan was the one to make this tiebreaker, he's going to call it in the air.
Butter pecan, correct?
Yeah, heads. Definitely heads.
It is heads.
Oh,
Yeah, let's go.
I can't be mad about it. Butter pecan's delightful.
The
It's
worst.
it's an underrated flavor. It really is.
No. Mom used to get nothing but Breyers, butter pecan ice cream growing up. And I would be like, this is like vanilla, except it's got a bunch of nuts in it. And I don't.
It's a
Oh,
little
spend most
gritty.
of the time picking out the pecans. I was like,
go cry into your cherry soda.
How about you have a float cherry soda with butter pecan on top? There you go.
Oh God! Threw up.
Triple kill.
all right. Moving on to the next round, we've got another fruit flavored ice cream for you with White House cherry or just cherry ice cream. It doesn't have to be exactly White House cherry, but it can be black cherry or just like cherry soda. Is it going to beat salted caramel at number 10?
Forget that stuff. Forget all this cherry bullshit. Caramel. Done.
Is White House cherry like is it a Turkey Hill flavor or is this another original thing?
I don't know. Basically, vanilla ice cream with big
Cherry.
chunks of cherry in it. I've seen other
Black
flavors.
cherry is usually colored cherry too.
Or it has
I think
streaky.
we'll lump-
It's streaky. It's like vanilla.
Yeah.
Cherry or black cherry is just cherry added to vanilla ice cream. So the ice cream
Right,
is actually
correct.
vanilla.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know about salted caramel, but salted caramel, I'm definitely going with.
All right.
We got pecan and pecan. We got caramel and caramel.
Well, one is
Go
spelled
on.
right and one is not. So just pointing out Andrew's bad English. here.
Caramel.
That's not a word.
You're not a word. White House cherry's moving on. It's delicious. I don't understand why you people don't like fruits. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's just like the green ice cream. It reminds you of things that are fresh and alive. You're all like, oh, I got to get all the sweet stuff. No, put fruit in your ice cream. It's delicious. Strawberry, orange sherbet, cherry ice cream, all great. I give up on you folks.
I got a bone to pick with salted caramel because caramel is delicious in any ice cream, but salted caramel is just too much. They rank up the salt flavor of the ice cream, and so a little bit of salt on ice cream is fantastic. There can be too much of a good thing, and that's salted caramel. So I'm going to go White House cherry because first of all, I want to screw Chad, and the second Hey, I'm putting my vibes on the table. I'm just flopping them down there. Now, second, I want to see a fruit flavor actually go on.
All right, we're going to flip another coin, and this time Chad's going to call it in the air because, again, I think
Saltiest bastard there is.
he wants to see Cherry die an unholy death for some reason. So,
Tails never fails.
It is heads. Cherry's moving on.
oh, White House Cherry, the revenge.
No, LFG, baby.
That's
Let's
right.
open my mouth.
You can't defeat the cherry flavors. As we move on to what eventually might defeat the cherry flavor with the number 2 of chocolate, just good old-fashioned chocolate ice cream, up against ube, which I honestly didn't know about until we started putting this whole tournament together. It's purple. It looks like it should be grape ice cream, right?
It's ube. Ube is a sweet yam. It's so good. And it's purple.
Is there like an umami kind of sense to it? Is it?
It's
is
a
it
little
salt?
umami, I guess, yes.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
All right, we'll start off with JA because this was one of his picks.
I
and-
feel like I have to go with ube just because of the Filipino connection. Also, chocolate's best when it's Neapolitan, which should have been a flavor on here.
Yes,
Wow.
please.
All right,
Preach,
the
Todd.
cat's out of the bag. In the lead up to this particular tournament, I kibosh Neapolitan being a flavor on this because it's 3 flavors and they're all equally represented on this. And I'm sorry, half the time when everybody gets Neapolitan, one person in the family eats the one flavor, another person in the family eats the other flavor, and then the third flavor just sits there. And oftentimes it's chocolate, but still,
Exactly.
chocolate
That's the point.
chocolate is beating ube. Now I can say that I'm not eating vegetables with my ice cream. I'm not eating sweet potato. I don't
Potato's
like
not
them.
a vegetable.
It's a
Starch.
tuber.
It's a legume. It's not a legume.
Chad, please settle this.
Yeah, you guys, you want to mess around with cherry stuff? No, I can't go against chocolate. It's chocolate.
No. I was going to say that would have been ultimate revenge. But Ethan, you didn't pick.
Yeah, I mean, I like purple. I like umami. I like everything that ubi stands for. I appreciate that it's on this list, but I can't go against chocolate. I mean, it's one of the three of the Neapolitans. You can't go against the family. Because I eat all three. Screw all y'all. I scoop it all the way across and I eat that son of a bitch. And it's good. That's how you eat Neapolitan. You don't waste eating one side or doing all this fancy crap.
You have been known to eat a KFC famous bowl as well. So you do like things just mixed up randomly together. Corn, mashed potatoes, cheese, chicken. Throw some Neapolitan ice cream in there. Why not?
I was slop bowl before slop bowls were slop bowls, okay? That's all I'm saying.
All right. Moving on to round 2. And we're going to go ahead and start off with what J.A. said was going to be the dagger in the heart of our number 1. Like, this is the moment when Duke gets beat out. Brackets are busted when it goes vanilla against chocolate chip cookie dough. So a very safe flavor against a flavor which everybody seems to think will give them rabies.
It's uncooked eggs, man. It's not safe.
Nancy Reagan, baby. Just say no.
Salmonella.
I'm still going to vote for vanilla. As I said before, it is so versatile. And boy, howdy, give me vanilla soft serve any day of the week. That Dairy Queen ice cream cone with some soft serve vanilla ice cream.
Yeah,
It's
but
fantastic.
then you dip it in something to add flavor to it. There's a reason why vanilla is another name for boring.
All right, so we've got 1 vanilla, 1 chocolate chip cookie dough. It's going to Chad. What's he going to say?
It's just too dangerous. I got to go vanilla. Uncooked eggs, Andy. It's uncooked eggs.
Yeah.
That's fine. You're on my side, Chad. I'm not disagreeing with you. J.A.'s the one that wants you to be dangerous. Live life on the edge. I want you to be safe and enjoy a good old-fashioned root beer float.
I always wondered, why don't they put the cookie dough in the ice cream cookie sandwiches? But they don't. They just go vanilla.
Nancy Reagan told me a long time ago, just say no to cookie dough.
All right. Vanilla is moving on to the final 4, as it should. Moving on to the next matchup, we've got mint chocolate chip going up against cookies and cream. Boy, howdy. Talk about like just 2 brothers just duking it out here. They're pretty much almost the same flavor, except one's got mint.
They're not the same flavor. Yes, not even close. And only one of them is a proper blizzard. So cookies and cream for the win, baby.
I just think, like, if we don't have cookies and cream in our final 4, like, we're gonna get ridiculed on the internet. Like, I think they'll throw us off of Blue Sky. I'm serious here. Like, our reputation is on the line with this, so I gotta go cookies and cream. I can't.
Well, I want to make this interesting, so I'm going to go with mint chocolate chip, even though I poo-pooed it in the last round. I'm a man of lots of conflicting ideals. So, Chad, are you going with me on the mint chocolate chip?
So here's the thing. You keep saying mint chocolate chip, but I feel like I've only ever encountered mint chip, which the chips are made of chocolate, but it's the dark chocolate. But they're not the chocolate chips that you would find in chocolate chip cookies. Instead, it's this weird dark chocolatey thing that in no way comes close to matching the glory of the blended up Oreo, Hydrox. You don't know which one's the generic one because they're all generic in their own ways. But it's wonderful. It's cookies and cream, and that's moving on.
All right. So those are 2 out of our final 4 with the number 1 and the number 4. So we're almost going chalk here. Let's see if that continues with strawberry at number 3 versus a dark horse at this point, butter pecan. Strawberry is still going to win for me. It's the best flavor other than vanilla still on this list.
Yeah, I'm just angry about that cherry thing. So strawberries getting it because of that. It's butter pecan for me. We need some nuts.
Ow!
Who wants to get nuts? You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
It's strawberry. Come on, Chad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're on my side.
My heart says strawberry. Honestly, if I had to pick, I'm picking strawberry at the counter. But today, you fruits, you fruity cherry galoots, you can go take it somewhere, everybody. It's butter pecan.
Wow. All right, last holdout for the fruity goodness, Ethan.
Golly,
Strawberry?
There's a parable out there where it starts with a ruby thief, and Michael Caine drones on for a while, but then at the very end of this parable, he says, "Some men just like to watch the world burn. Let's go butter pecan, baby. Let's go."
You heartless bastards. Putting strawberry to the slaughter for your own pettiness. That's all this is.
I'm 120% voting for White House cherry in the next round. Like there's no, like I'm just putting it out there right now. Like
all right. White House cherry versus chocolate. We've got Ethan saying White House cherries. Moving on to the
100%.
final four. Obviously, I think we know what Chad's gonna say. But seriously, Chad, I think you would have picked chocolate anyways, right?
Yeah,
like, I mean,
clearly better. That White House cherry has that neon red cherry abomination. That's not a fruit. I don't know what you guys are talking
cherries.
about.
They're maraschino
It's dark
cherries
cherry.
dipped in sugar. It's like cherries dipped in sugar.
See.
It's delicious.
See, I thought you were rolling with like the black cherry ice. That's
man,
that is fantastic. I thought that was what I was voting for, but
Well,
I don't
it's
care.
on there.
I'm still
It's
voting
on there.
cherry.
It's
Yeah.
fine. It can be anything. It's cherry flavored ice cream. JA?
Chocolate, obviously.
It's going to be our final flip of the coin here. And we'll let you, JA, call it in the air. If it's going to be chocolate or is it...
Heads is chocolate, tails is White House cherry. It's heads. Chocolate's moving on.
All right, there we go. That's a good final four. Vanilla, the cookies and cream,
Butter pecan with the dark horse and chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's a
that's the only reason I didn't vote strawberry, because I couldn't have us have all the different parts of Neapolitan in cookies
versus
and cream.
cookies and cream. Because I think cookies and cream would have run away with it. At least butter pecan makes this interesting.
All right, so that is the final four matchup: vanilla, cookies and cream, chocolate, and butter pecan. Make sure that you're getting out to our social media all this week so that you can vote on what you think out of those four flavors is the best. And again, if you feel like just Neapolitan should have been on this list to begin with and should have ran away with the whole thing, let us know. The guys are willing to throw cookies and cream, egged flavored ice cream at me all day for getting that one wrong. But in any case, one thing I didn't get wrong was the pick for this week's book, and it is Captain America: Escape from Dimension Z. And that's coming up right after this message. Stay tuned.
Hey, and quick shout out to the twist cones that you can get in the hood that are like this high up. You know, in Cleveland and Pittsburgh, I see you. Come on now. Baltimore, let's go.
Looking to save money on your collectible supplies? Whether it's comics, cards, sports memorabilia, or miscellaneous pop culture bric-a-brac, make sure to use promo code LCSPOD to get 10% off your orders at bcwsupplies.com. Not only does it get you a discount on BCW's already low prices, but using LCSPOD at checkout is an amazing way to show support to the Last Comic Shop podcast, the most incredible comic book podcast on the airwaves. So if you are in need of collectible supplies, head out to bcwsupplies.com and use promo code LCSPOD today. That's promo code LCSPOD. Cheers!
Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto, all things that we love, all manga that were originally published in the legendary magazine Weekly Shonen Jump.
But not every series can run for 300 chapters and have a hit anime. This is David.
This is Jordan.
We're the hosts of Shonen Flop. Each episode we look at manga that ran in Jump that didn't quite make it.
We discuss what it did wrong, what it did right, how the series could have turned itself around, and ultimately, was it a flop or not?
We're on all your favorite podcast apps, and you can find us at shonenflop.com.
Keep on flopping, floppers.
All right, we're back with more of the Last Comic Shop, and it is now time for our Read Pile Review. Yes, that time of every single show where we hope that you enjoyed the fireworks that just happened as we debated ice cream flavors, but we're not a gourmet or food podcast. We are a comic book podcast. So we like to talk about comic books, and every year around this time, we like to pick a Captain America comic book that we hope that you pick up at your local comic book shop if you are so inclined. This year's pick is my choice for comic books featuring that Star-Spangled Avenger. And it is Captain America Escape from Dimension Z, which was a 10-issue arc that came out of, I think, Captain America Volume 7. I don't exactly know the year, though, but I remember picking it up on the newsstands when it originally was. But Chad, why don't you fill us in on all the details?
There you go. So this started officially January 2013, but that really means it actually came out in 2012 because the way comics work. Anyway, so it was written all 10 issues by Rick Remender. John Romita did pencils for all the issues until we get to the last two where he's simply doing breakdowns. And then he had an inking team of Klaus Janson, who occasionally was joined by Scott Hanna, and then also occasionally joined by Tom Palmer as well. On colors, primarily it was Dean White, but occasionally he'd get help from Lee Lowridge or Dan Brown or Rochelle Rosenberg. So it was a team effort on that front as well.
Well, let's keep that team effort going with our other co-host, Jay Scott, who's going to give us the 10-cent synopsis. So what happens in these 10 issues, J.A.?
Okay, so Captain America gets on a weird subway that is more akin to Washington, D.C.'s metro in that once you step onto it, you're entering hell. And this subway turns out to be a trans-dimensional portal thingy that zips him to Dimension Z, which is this creation of Arnim Zola, and who's trying to take over the world by building all these mutants using the blood that he extracts from Captain America, Steve Rogers, while also infecting him with a Zola's virus that turns Captain America's chest into a giant screen for Arnim Zola, and then he can hear him in his mind, and he's fighting this. He ends up getting stuck in this Dimension Z for over a decade. He is raising a baby boy that turns out to be the boy of Arnim Zola, while Arnim Zola is raising a girl, and there are these tribes of creatures that Arnim Zola is killing to use as fodder for all of his mutant experiments, but Steve Rogers is all about standing up. He stands up a lot and fighting for these mutants. And then there's this whole backstory about Steve Rogers' dad getting beaten down by the Great Depression and Steve Rogers getting beat up by kids in New York and getting thrust into a gang where he's forced to sell newspapers. Man, those newsies, they're evil.
Hey, headlines don't sell papes. Newsies sell papes.
So you could say that he's an American dad.
He is. You're absolutely right.
That's the main theme of this whole book, right? I mean, fatherhood and
raising a kid who's the same age. I don't know, 10 years later, he looked the same.
Yeah, it was a weird man-child thing. It was very odd.
It's Captain America v Gen Z. Get it? Because it's Zola and Dimension Z.
Wow.
Perfect. And then it gets really confusing because Sharon Carter, towards the end of the book, comes in and says he's only been there for half an hour. I've thrown all sanity out the window at this point, which is how I felt about a lot of the book, honestly. I felt like it was a long and winding acid trip.
Wow.
You guys give me these books with these street level characters, and I'm like expecting A, and you get me Zola, like Z, like basically.
I am kind of glad though that you did read this book in the same season that you previously read the Ann Nesenti run of Daredevil. But John Romita also does the art on that book, and I do feel there is a kinship between these two books, and the fact that you take these street level characters and you put them in a weird alien environment where they basically have to be the savior of that particular universe. I don't understand how you didn't get the whole notion that he's been there for a decade but it's only been a half an hour in the real world.
No, I get it. I've seen Interstellar. I've seen Lightyear even touches on it, that Disney movie with Buzz Lightyear, where they touch on the fact of like time passes differently in different sections of the universe. Like, I get that concept. It was off-putting to me. It was almost like, is this real? Because she was very insistent about it. Sharon Carter was like, no, Cap, you've been hallucinating this the entire time. It wasn't just like time passing. It was like Zola is creating this entire world, entire experience for you that you're just absorbing. It's almost like you went to sleep and you had a dream that 12 years passed, but really like only 6 hours passed of your only real life. You know what I mean? That's how I took it at the very end. And to that point, it almost like devaluated the entire book. Currently, I'm playing this game, Expedition 33. Well, you find out later in the story, and I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, you can turn this part off and come back in 30 seconds. But the main characters in the game are actually people as part of a painting. And once you actually find that part out of the story, it's kind of just, I don't care about these people anymore, like, because they're not experiencing a real experience, if that makes sense. And so that was a lot of it like this aha moment for me with the story, where I couldn't take any of it seriously after that point, because I don't know if what he's actually experiencing is reality.
I think the more you try to tether this story to reality, the more you're going to become untethered. There are only so many Captain America stories out there. And this leans into the wacky Jack Kirby era where it was ultra science fiction-y. Like, there are moments where like he just carves a big hole in his chest and then keeps on going because that's what happens. It's like, oh, next issue, what's Cap going to do with that big hole in his chest? I guess the same thing he did the day before. Like, the consequences, they're not there for a lot of this story. And even like as I'm reading it, I'm thinking about the kid and I'm thinking about Jet Black. I'm like, oh, what happened to those guys? Like, where did they end up? And then, oh yeah, that's right, nowhere. You would think that this kid that Cap is so emotionally invested in would resonate, but no, not a thing. But while you're there, while you're in Dimension Z, it's a fun ride. It's lots of wackiness. I really enjoy when John Romita is drawing the little nightmare monster guys. Like, John Romita with the crooked teeth monsters are always real fun for me. I was a little confused. The one monster guy looked a lot like the Truth version of Captain America.
Lige Bradley. Yeah, the African-American captain. You're right, it does. I want to say, like, I kept on looking at it, especially since we covered that this year, and I was like, if that was a conscious choice, that was a real poor choice.
I just didn't know. Was there something I missed? Like, I kept wondering, like, why would they do that one? Like, this,
no,
they're going to distort a version of Captain America. Why pick that one? And I don't know, like, maybe there's something to it that I didn't pick up.
I just thought it was super weird. What I wanted to kind of say about this entire series is, for me, at the time I was reading this, Rick Remender was the new freshness. He was writing a bunch of series that I was also reading at the same time. Fear Agent, Black Science. He just had a run on Uncanny Avengers. I think he was also on Uncanny X-Force. And if you read any of these books, they are humorous to a certain degree. They're definitely science fiction based. They're kind of wild and fantastical. But you can't shake this idea that they're also very depressing, very nihilistic. Like, Rick Remender likes to take characters that you love and basically run them through the ringer to the point where they are unrecognizable. And you're like, how much more abuse can you heap on any person? But unlike some other writers that I dislike, like Mark Millar, who just takes really great characters and just shits on them, I don't think Rick Remender's doing that with Captain America. He's showing how tenacious Captain America is, how like his spirit cannot be defeated. But at the same time, you're like, oh my gosh, Captain America just cut open his chest. He got a shield in the back of his back. There's so many little panels where Captain America's like, yep, I got to stand up, but I'm going to die. Like, I'm bleeding everywhere. I can feel the black ooze of blood inside my lungs, but I got to get up and I got to punch some more. And you're just like, Rick, eat some cookies and cream ice cream or do something. You're depressing.
And I can't shake that feeling of like doubt of like, is this actually a real experience of the Captain America, or is this all Zola mind trip?
Yeah, you would think there'd be long-ranging consequences if somebody changed your torso into a TV screen. But I don't think it comes up after this. But at the same time, that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah, I
It's
went
comics.
on the wiki and I found out that Jet Black shows up up until like issue 25 of this Captain America run, and then never again. And the boy Ian is like here or there mentioned a couple times, but nowhere near as important as he was meant to be portrayed in this thing, where he's Captain America's son. But it's almost like Rick Remender made the character, but nobody else wanted to play with him.
Well, why would you? It's depressing. It's a depressing. I mean, it was my...
Yeah, the thing I actually didn't care for so much, I got why he was doing it, because that was the whole setup, where the flashback scenes to New York, pre-World War II New York, I was like, I don't really care about that, because the rest of it was like a Silver Surfer book, except Captain America instead of Silver Surfer, and I love that. I was loving how wacky, crazy it was, and the aliens, and sort of post-apocalyptic, but you're not even on Earth, and that was fun. It was a good, fun read, but I didn't need the whole inner politics of newspaper delivery kids in the 1940s.
You didn't like all the grounding stuff. Just set you off on Dimension Z and
just
go.
give me Dimension Z and let me live in Dimension Z. Yeah, Jet Black. I mean, he was definitely channeling Kirby on that one, right? She looked exactly like Barda.
Or
the Fifth Element.
Yeah, the Fifth Element girl. I mean, because she definitely by the end is just wearing barely anything, but she's an interesting character. Like, I will say, of all the characters that came out of this, I actually liked Rick Remender's handling of the main female characters in this. Once Sharon Carter comes in, and I'm not going to spoil what Sharon Carter does, but that's like a moment when I'm just like, wow, Rick really did that. Like, he really did. Like, maybe that's what really hit it home for you, Ethan, that you're just like, I don't know what to believe anymore. Like,
yeah, I didn't take that serious for a second. I thought it was just another, they do this in comics all the time. They fake things that happen to certain characters. I'm not going to go into it. I don't know how much more I can go into without saying spoilers about it. Like,
you can spoil a little bit, but yeah, Sharon didn't go through it, but Cap did, and she just shows up. She's like, "No, man, let's go. Let's wrap this stuff up and get out of here." It's weird to see how cold.
It's almost even unearned too. It was like she came in like issue 9, and didn't have like any sort of pathos other than she does do something that's pretty like substantial when she shows up. And then she does something substantial right after that, but she didn't really earn either thing. Like, if she was there for all 9 issues and she does what she does at the very end of the book, then I can say, okay, this was earned. This is huge. I appreciate this. Rick Remender, you're going out on a bender here. But to me, I understand Sharon Carter and her place in Captain America's pathos, just because I've read enough about Captain America to know that. But if you're reading this 10 issues and you're just a casual Captain America fan, don't really know much about his backstory, you'll get introduced basically to a girl in issue 1, shows up in issue 9, and then does all this crazy crap, and then, eventually what happens to her. Like, I don't think any of it's earned at all. Like, I don't feel, if it's like Jet Black did the exact same thing, like, we'd be like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like, that's amazing. Like, that's the path.
Right. Well, I will say that Rick is pulling on some past continuity with Sharon being tortured by Zola in a similar way. She's at an axe to grind with Zola. But to your point, Ethan, if you're coming in cold and you've never read any of that, you're not going to pick up on that. You're going to pick up on some of the tail end where she's confronting Zola. But what I'm saying is both her and then Jet Black, especially in the last couple of issues where she learns that she's been denied compassion or feeling compassion her entire life. She's never been introduced to some of these quote unquote alien concepts that are just part of being a human being. And Captain America shows her like, hey, look, like there's other stuff to this. And she's like, yeah, you're right. I am feeling bad about the things that Zola's doing. But not only that, but I don't want to kill him because he's still my dad. She has a pretty decent arc through these issues, I feel. So like she's an extremely important and interesting character. I wanted to talk real quickly before we moved on about Sketchy McSketcherson, as J.A. likes to say. What did you think of the art, J.A.? You're oftentimes John Romita's. I don't know if you're his biggest fan or his least biggest fan. Like,
I love him. I love him. I don't want to say he's like fine wine. He's like a very peaty North Isle Scottish whiskey. It takes some appreciation. It takes some work to like it, but once you like it, you love it. I thought once we got to Dimension Z and you saw all those creatures running around, I was in heaven. It was awesome. As Chad pointed out, once the fighting starts, it's almost like he goes into a whole new set of like sketchiness, as if the artist has been also punched in the face along with all these aliens and Captain America. You're viscerally feeling the fight because, like the combatants, you're also getting punch drunk on the art while you're reading it. So I love it. As the series went on, he was struggling with deadlines or whatnot. I mean, I think that's why we had the last 2 issues. He was just doing breakdowns. He wasn't penciling the full thing. And as the series progressed, Klaus Janson did a lot more heavy lifting, probably. Hence why he had to bring in people to help as well. But it's not going to be for everyone. It's definitely acquired taste.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, Jay, at least the last part, because I don't think it's necessarily fair for me to say this, but I think some of it was phoned in. I think like he did some characters very consistently well. Zola is a menace through the entire thing. Captain America is the beacon of truth. He's always drawn immaculately. So if you're going to put all your time and effort into those 2 characters, I think you nailed it. And Sharon Carter, he does perfectly. It's just that Jet Black is like the most gorgeous woman on earth, and then the next panel, she's like, it's almost like the Seinfeld chick that like you get her in the different lighting, you're like, oh, not good. And then I have no clue what age Ian is because he man-child and 12 and 4 and 6, and I'm like, baby. So it's just like, it's wildly. I like the art. I think it was good. It's just like, I think some of it was like Jay said, I think he was just getting a little bit under pressure to produce results, and I don't think that they really came together.
Yeah, honestly, I think though Jay unlocked something for me. Is I'm a longtime John Romita Jr. fan, but I noticed like starting around like the Kick-Ass era of John Romita Jr., when he gets into the brutality of these fight scenes, there's a lot more ugliness that has always made me uncomfortable, but at the same time, the storytelling chops are always there throughout, and I never had considered the ugliness being a purposeful artistic choice. There's a reason why it looks so rough, because those characters are so rough and the story is so rough at that point. It helps to hammer home, the hammering that's happening. I don't know.
No, it makes sense to me. I mean, you get punch drunk, things start getting a little bit fuzzy. Plus, again, like just some of the injuries that are inflicted on Captain America throughout this entire book. It's just crazy to see some of that stuff. And I do feel like if you had a different artist on this book, maybe that brutality wouldn't have been so visceral, to the point where, again, I felt like I couldn't watch it anymore. It's like, I don't want to see Steve Rogers beat up like this. Like, I just don't want to see it anymore. It's almost too much. Then you turn the page and you see like the giant Armin Zola looking like something out of like the Eternals or, Galactus towering over the entire wasteland. And you're like, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. No wonder J.A. loves this art. Because it was something like at a Silver Surfer or something.
At the end of the day, it works. It works for me, at least. I know it's a your mileage may vary scenario, but yeah, there's something about John Romita's storytelling that I'll take it every which way through Sunday. Like,
I mean, did his art change at some point? Like, if we're talking about the same artist that did like the Innocenti run for Daredevil, and now it's just like much more cartoony, is that like the influence of the Ultimate Universe? Because I feel like
he has been drawing for a bajillion years, and his style has changed. When he first started, he was more of a clone of his dad.
Yeah, I feel like Daredevil's when he started really coming into his own and moving away from sort of the house style, the Marvel house style, which is very much his dad's style.
Honestly, I think that's the style I think I more appreciate, just because that's like, the classic Marvel. It's almost like he went from one Marvel house style to another Marvel house style, but a worse one.
Well, no, he went from his father's house style to the house style that he created.
I see. Okay.
So he's at this point he's also OG.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Frank Miller stuff that you see in Dark Knight Returns, which is I'm actually glad that Klaus Janson is on inks in this, because I feel like Klaus Janson on John Romita Jr. pencils is a great combination for kind of getting across dark grittiness, to be honest. But one thing that's not dark and gritty, we hope, is our ratings. And that's going to come up right after this commercial break, as well as recommendations. So stick around for the finale of The Last Comic Shop right after this.
Hi, I'm Connor McCreary, and I want to talk to you about The Last Witch. The Last Witch is perfect for anyone with young readers in their life. It's the story of 12-year-old Saoirse, who learns she can use magic when a coven of witches destroys her village, forcing her bratty little brother, and her cigar-smoking grandmother to help Saoirse stop the Queen of the Witches from destroying the world. I like to call it Irish Avatar: The Last Airbender, with just enough twists, turns, and scares to keep readers guessing. Book 1 is in stores now, and issue 1 of Book 2 starts coming out in June. It'll be your family's next favorite read.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans, do you want military history and your stories of service preserved? The Library of Congress Veterans History Project collects, preserves, and makes accessible the first-hand accounts of veterans who served from World War I through today. Make your story heard. To learn more and become involved, visit loc.gov/vets.
All right, we're back with more of The Last Comic Shop, and it is now time for ratings. We're hoping to wrap up this episode so we can get you out to your 4th of July festivities. So to kick that off, we've got our rating scale given to us by J. Scott. 1 out of 4 what, J.A.?
1 out of 4 chess computers.
Chess computers? Like that Russian guy? I rook to b4.
Not chess.com.
All right. Let's go ahead and start off with Chad, since he was the first one to make a bad joke in this particular segment. How many chess computers are you giving this?
I enjoyed this. I don't think it's the best Rick Remender I've read. I don't think it's the best John Romita Jr. I've read. But at the same time, for 10 solid issues, I was in it, man. I enjoyed the wackiness of Dimension Z. I'm just going to go with a straight 3. Like, it was fun comic booking. I don't know if it's something that I'd recommend to everybody. But if you like John Romita Jr., if you are emotionally affected by Rick Remender and his stories about abusive fathers, this is for you. You know what I mean? That it's really good at what it does. So
yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you, Chad. I think this is a 3. This is a pretty good comic book. It's why I recommended it. And even after, some 10 years after I read it originally, I was really happy to go back to it. I think this has a lot of things going for it that would appeal to modern audiences. Lots of folks nowadays like, those doomsday stories, those post-apocalyptic stories. And this is pretty much it. It throws everything you kind of sort of know about Captain America, other than his character itself, the standing up for what's right and standing up against tyranny and stuff. You get that Captain America, but then you just throw him into an alien universe where he just gets to be that and raise a son and live a life that's outside of the Marvel universe for a decade, which I think is kind of interesting. And again, you don't need to really know a lot about Captain America to enjoy it. And it plays with, again, one of the more common themes of Captain America, which is the man out of time, right? We all love the Captain America man out of time stories. And this is really Captain America out of time and space. Like it's just somewhere bizarre and, he has to adapt and continue to stand up. I just can't give it anything more than a 3 because it's brutal. It is brutal. You will start to doubt whether or not Rick Remender likes any of these characters whatsoever. I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to show that Captain America is tenacious and will always stand up. But boy, the amount of abuse that's heaped upon him is just hard to look at. It's just, as somebody that wants a little bit of sunshine in their comic books, you're not going to get it here. You're not going to get it here at all. So enjoy the bleakness of your post-apocalyptic universe.
What are you talking about? Bleakness. It's wonderfully bleak. It's depressingly depressing. It's so good. And Sketchy McSketcherson delivers yet again. Just incredible JRJR artwork. I've got to give it a 3.5. I can't give it a 4. There were some bits that don't make any sense. I still don't get that whole train thing. I'm blaming Rick Remender for this. The train to Dimension Z makes no sense to me. Why he's the only one who can get on the train? What happened to everybody else on the train? Who's getting off the train? Why is Sharon Carter just buying that? Who is that S.H.I.E.L.D. dude that doesn't let Sharon Carter on the train? When he gets on the train, it's not like it's have you seen those trains in Japan? There was definitely room for one more person on that. Anyways, that being said, it's batshit crazy at times. It's brutal. I really wish they had done more with the characters afterwards. If that's as a 10-issue run by itself, it's great, but it sets up so many potential things. Jet Black is a very interesting character. Nomad, a little bit less so, but, I thought he was a blank book. They could have done so much with him. They didn't. That whole sort of Steve Rogers father thing really would have been interesting to explore more. I wish they would have. And what I did like about it is little nitpicks aside, it's a very well-constructed 10-issue run that I thoroughly enjoyed, as long as we weren't back in 1940 talking about the politics of newspaper kids. So, 3.5.
All right, Ethan, wrap us up.
I guess I'll be the bearer of bad news. I don't know. I think ultimately J.A. pretty much hit exactly where I wanted to start He mentioned that there's so many interesting characters that were created out of this, and they did absolutely nothing with any of them. So I have to go back to what Sharon Carter said to Captain America. You've only been in here for a half an hour, and does this actually matter at the end? And I can't figure that out. And I just the brutality, the amount of abuse that Captain America endured. Was it real? Kind of saying no, because I don't know if a character would survive that amount of abuse, no matter what the super serum that's pumping through his veins and the resilience that he has to just get up. There's no way that you could survive a knife in your chest, face swollen, your wrists broken, your legs shattered beyond belief, and you keep getting up and keep getting up and keep getting up. I just can't take any of that seriously. And that's my biggest problem with this. It's like, when I went back to the end, the Senti Daredevil, the crazy train or crazy plane that actually landed and everybody was safe at the end, this was the one that goes careening off the cliff. And so for me, it's a 2.75. I think I was at a 3. But I got to decrease it a little bit. Sorry, it's a good self-contained story. Don't get me wrong. It's very interesting, time out of place. And I love putting somebody in that kind of situation. It's just that I can't take any of it seriously. So 2.75 at the end of the day.
Or something with cherries in it.
Maybe a cherry on top. I mean,
well, here's your cherry on top for this week's episode of The Last Comic Shop. It is recommendations. We're going to be quick with this because we don't have a ton of time, but these are other comic books in addition to Escape from Dimension Z, Captain America, which you can find in a variety of different ways. I've seen it in Buck Bins, the single issues. I think you can get it in 2 trades, the first 5 issues and the second 5 issues. I think there's also a collection that includes all of the Rick Remender. Keep in mind, I think this was the run in which Captain America became old like somebody pulls the super soldier serum out of him and he becomes like a 90-year-old dude, which
old man Steve.
Yeah.
Well, he is a 90-year-old dude, but now he's
right,
really
but he looks
90.
like he looks 90 years old. That happens later in the Rick Remender run, I believe. So some great stuff out there if you want to pick it up, but here's some other things as well. We're going to start off with J.A. So what do you got this week?
I am recommending an omnibus, because of course I am, and it's the Captain Britain omnibus. Ooh. That's right. You get all of the Captain Britain stories from the earliest 1976 stuff up through what is now considered absolute must-read 80 stories with Alan Moore and Alan Davis. Before Watchmen, he did Captain Britain, his first foray into deconstructing the superhero. The start of the multi-dimensional world of Marvel started with Captain Britain, because every Earth has a Captain Britain.
That is true. Not a lot of people know that that's where the multiverse started at Marvel, but it did. So and there's some good issues in there. I've read a couple of the Marvel team-up issues with Spider-Man that he wrote, and those are neat.
The original Captain Britain, and then from 76, 1 through 39, and then of course you get the Alan Davis, the classic, the costume that we all know and love now today, and there's some incredible Hulk Weekly, Marvel Superheroes, Daredevils, Mighty World of Marvel, Captain Britain from 85, 1 through 14, Marvel Tales, Marvel Team Up, a couple of New Mutants. It just covers everything you would need to know about the greatest captain in Britain.
In case. I'm going to go next. I'm going to bring it back to Captain America here, and a series that I read because of a recommendation from our good friend George over at Shortbox Summary. He had mentioned on a previous episode that we should check out the J. Michael Straczynski run of Captain America that recently was on comic book stands back in 2023. And so I checked out the first 6 issues. It's collected in a book called Stand. It has art by a variety of different folks, including Jesus Saez, Lan Medina, Matt Hollingsworth, and others. But it tells a story of basically Captain America fighting a demon who has been trying to work behind the scenes for decades to eliminate those folks that are agents of change. And so it not only talks about when this demon first fought Captain America way back in the 1940s before he gets the super soldier serum, but then talks about what's going on now, where Captain America teams up with folks like Misty Knight and Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, and a doll version of Doctor Strange, which I thought was awesome. It's great. It's classic J. Michael Straczynski, and I hope that you check it out, because I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love how Andy's like, we got to wrap up the show and then let me vamp for my book for like 5 minutes. The opposite here. I'm going to go really quickly. My pick is My Hero Academia Vigilantes. It serves as a prequel to My Hero Academia, which is a popular manga, anime, but this has to do with street level characters. So it's pretty cool. I read the first Tankobon. I liked it a lot. It's very refreshing to read a manga that has regular people with not a lot of stakes. They're not like the best thing since sliced bread. They're just regular dudes solving street level crimes. And so if you dig Captain America, he's pretty much street level character. You probably dig this too. So I'd check it out.
All right, Chad, wrap it up for this week.
Okay, so I'm super pumped for the Fantastic Four movie that's going to be coming out later on this month. And so I wanted to pick an FF story. And the one I settled on was Fantastic Four Antithesis, which was a 4-issue miniseries. It was actually some of the last work that Neil Adams produced before his passing, R.I.P. But it's written by Mark Waid, and if I'm going to give you 2 spoilers, at some point the FF get the power cosmic, and then what's the Oppenheimer quote? I am death, destroyer of worlds.
Yes,
it's from the Bhagavad Gita. It's Shiva.
There you go. Reed Richards gets to become Galactus, eater of worlds. So yeah, if that does not entice you, along with some Neil Adams art and the fact that this is also available not only in issues but in the treasury size format, I don't know what will. It was lots of fun. and worth your time. It's called Fantastic Four Antithesis by Wade and Adams and a bunch of other folks.
Well, it is now time to wrap things up, and we hope that you will not only listen to more Last Comic Shop episodes in future, but also check out some of our past episodes featuring Captain America, featuring The Last Chicken Shop, featuring The Last Burger Shop, featuring The Last Soda Shop, and you can do all of those things by going out to www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com, rate, reviewing, and subscribing, as well as you can find those links to those social medias where we're going to have that poll, the final four for the Last Ice Cream Shop Challenge. So make sure that you're voting on whether it's going to be vanilla, chocolate, cookies and cream, or butter pecan winning it all this year.
All right, kids. Well, we might be the Last Comic Shop podcast. We don't want to be the Last Comic Shop, so we encourage everybody to get out there and support your local shops, whether it's by picking up the Escape from Dimension Z with Rick Remender and John Romita Jr. and etc., picking up things like the Captain Britain Omnibus and finding all that great stuff wasn't initially released here in the States. Or maybe you want to go traditional Cap and J. Michael Straczynski and that Stand storyline, FF Antithesis with Mark Waid and Neil Adams, or you want to go into the manga section and check out some My Hero Academia Vigilantes. All that and more waits for you at your local comic shop, so make sure you check those things out today. And then you can always circle back to www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com, where you can find our website, links to our socials, and links to what else, J.A.?
We always have a link to our merch store where you can get T-shirts, coffee mugs, tote bags. As we said, we've got a special on the Last Ice Cream Shop T-shirt. You can also get the Last Burger Shop, the Last Chicken Shop. Next year, we're going to have to do the Last Beer Shop.
And that's for the month of July only. This is the exclusive deal that we only have.
That's right.
Well, with the way the weather is, who knows?
Smash that 5-star review, baby. Let's set off some fireworks. Suggest this to your friends. Send them a bunch of firework emojis when you say Last Comic Shop, 4th of July, spectacular. Also, hey, we're on YouTube, right? Make sure you hit that little bell dingy so you get our next videos that come up. You know, if we can do it, I swear I'm going to get Andy to do a 1-hour BCW Supplies ad read for all of you fans that have been holding it.
Well, you're going to have to just settle for a quick 30-second one. Make sure that you are checking out bcwsupplies.com if you need any of your comic book supplies, and using the promo code LCSPOD will save you 10% on that stuff that you're buying anyways. Bags, boards, boxes, you name it, they've got it. It's fantastic and at a great price. So not only comic book stuff, but cards, collectibles, any of that bric-a-brac that you love to fill up your special places. Make sure that you're getting out to bcwsupplies.com.
I don't know if that kind of shop for your special places. It's like boxes,
you know,
stuff,
like offices. You guys are dirty. Offices, you know, man caves, whatever it happens to be. BCW Supplies. Use promo code LCSPOD. Save yourself 10% today. We hope that you come back next week to the Last Comic Shop and the rest of July. We've got a review of Superman coming up, a review of Fantastic Four. But until then, I was the host with the most, Danny Larson. I was joined by Chad Smith, J. Scott, and the bombastic Ethan Larson. And we hope that you stay safe. Stay patriotic. That's right. It's still good to be patriotic. It is. It really is. Captain America, let's go. Rah, rah, fireworks, apple pie, ice cream. It's all good, right?
Dimension C, mutate.
As long as it's not cherry ice cream.
Yeah, red, white, and blue.
That's right. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, red being cherry, the white being vanilla, blue being, you could suck it, because those are the best flavors.
Comic Shop Podcast was a 2025 Black Angus production.